Welcome back, my beautiful Super Soul Sisters, and today we're going to talk about mates' shoes. So this is all about who are you walking with on your path, okay, and who are the friends that are in your life that are supportive and those that are perhaps not so much, okay, and what can we do about that? So I think this is a common issue in that quite often, especially when we're younger, you know, you're in a set school or you're in a set town and you're kind of stuck with the people that you're brought up with. And if it's a smaller town, then you probably have less chances or less exposure, not chances, less exposure to more options of being able to choose differently, right? And quite often we get roped up. I find that, you know, like folks have come to me later on in life and they go, do you know what, I've had this friend for years, but honestly, they're just hard work. Or we used to really get on, but, you know, and they even say, you know, we've parted ways, you know, is quite a common thing, isn't it? It's like, we're just so different now than what I was when I was younger. So you may have evolved in a certain way, intellectually, spiritually, emotionally, whatever it is, and they kind of stayed stuck or chose not to move or develop or be something different. And I remember this from even Zimbabwean days, because I'm originally from Zim, and you know, I went off traveling for some years through Europe. And then I would go back on my, you know, my breaks, you know, because I was working in London, and I would go back and return to Zimbabwe. And honestly, it was like nothing had changed sometimes. Now, in a way, it was really nice, but also by the same token, there was no growth. And I just don't think I would have dealt with that, because I'm all about improving, expanding, which is what life is all about, isn't it? It's about growing. It's taking yourself to that next level. You know, flowers, they bloom and blossom, don't they? Trees, they grow their fruit. It's all here to be, you know, grow into its fullest potential, isn't it? So I often would look back and go, wow, you know, like I was pretty tight with those friends, still am, you know, lovely people, don't get me wrong. It's just that we were on different paths then, you know, like I had seen so much more perhaps and exposed myself to so much more, and I'd met so many different types of people, and I had so many more options than I had if perhaps I had landed up staying and not traveling and not doing that expansive travel thing. Now, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong if you're not into traveling. Don't misinterpret. I mean, you can still grow without traveling. You don't have to go and travel in order to learn. You can just go on the internet. I mean, there's a whole plethora of courses, free stuff now that when I was growing up wasn't available, right? You'd have to go to the library and get a printed book, or something sent to you, you know. So it's a whole different ball game now. You don't actually have to get on a plane to be the best version of yourself. You can do that right here, right now, by listening to this. This is a start, right? And just making little tiny steps every single day. So for me, my frustration, not frustration, but observation, I guess you could say, it wasn't a frustration. It was like, wow, you know, that gap is quite demarcated now. Now, I still, you know, am friends with them. However, it is different, if I'm honest, you know, and we all have different friends for different reasons, and, you know, that's fantastic. There's nothing wrong with that either. You know, it's accepting where they are in their journey is part of it, isn't it? It's those acceptance shoes. There's no right or wrong about it. It's just them. They're on their journey, and I'm on my path, and I'm on my journey. And so it's just an analogy. So you can go, that might be why there's a discord. Maybe these shoes that are around me aren't quite the shoes that suit me anymore, you know. So it's kind of like the Bruce Lipton concept of surround yourself with a positivity, with the energy that you want, because the cell in the center gets affected by what's around them. So I'm a really big fan of surrounding yourself with like-minded people, which is why I like the Facebook group, you know, and that community environment where it's like-minded individuals all going on the same path you know, like that you've got your own individual path, but your general sort of North Star is to be the best version of yourself. Your general North Star is to handle life better. Your general North Star is, you know, you might have a specific sort of expansion that you want, but it's still expansion that you want. You want to grow, you want to expand, you want to be better, you want to achieve more, you want to be, it doesn't even have to be an achieve thing. It could be just that I'm a happier person, you know, that could be the goal. But that's an expansion in itself. That's an acknowledgement of, I could do this better. So when you're surrounded with people like that, with like-minded shoes, that, you know, like in Bruce Lipton, if you go and watch the Lipton shoes video, it's a summary really of how he found that what's in the cell area can either be toxic to the cell in the center, and can, you know, cause it to stifle and even die. I'm not saying, you know, your friends would make you die. That would be a bit drastic. But, you know, where it causes the cell to not grow, or stay stagnant, or in his, you know, literal case of looking at diseased cells, what was it that was causing the cell to be unhealthy was because of the unhealthy environment. So, you know, it's an analogy for the same concept. Effectively, we are all cells, aren't we? So it's like, you know, who's working for us on our path? You know, it's one thing sorting out our own shoe closet, like having our feng shui of our own shoe closet, but it's quite another where you go, right, you know, once you start getting clear on all this stuff, you go, these are my shoes, these are the shoes I do want, these are the shoes I don't want, you know, and you start clearing things out. And it's like those 3 hidden shoe types that Vicky talks about, that I didn't even know I had in my closet, and I now know that I'm a, you know, manager, a shoe wearer, or a firefighter shoe wearer, and, you know, whatever it, you know, you can get real clear about what's in your closet. And then you go, do you know what, I'm going to have these core sets of shoes that are going to be the ones that I wear pretty much most of the time. And in fact, I'll talk about that next actually. And it's, what am I going to do with those, you know, like now that I've got, this is what I want, and I'm kind of clear about, this is not, you don't have to be crystal clear about your path, but as long as you've got that sort of generic, this is the way I want to go. So like I was saying to you about, you know, people who join, women who join, you know, the group, it's all about the expansion, the growth, the improving. How can I, in little steps, be the next best version of myself? At least I'm moving forward, aren't I? I'm taking one step forward every single day. So if I, you know, and if I've got someone over here who's like, that's a waste of time, you know, don't bother with that. Oh, they never have any success. Oh, who are those people? They're nobodies anyway. Oh, you know, there's no point, it's all hard work anyhow. You don't have time, you know, like you've got you've got your parrot shoes on anyway, because we all have them. So if you haven't listened to that video, go and have a look for that one, #parrot shoes, because that tells you about all your internal rhetoric that you've got going on. So that's all your own negative baggage and records that you play on an ongoing basis. It's bad enough having that, let alone a whole bunch of people outside of you doing the same thing to you as well. In my opinion, how about we just not have that? Or if they are in that environment, you know, and you are going to come across it, because we have a tendency as humans to have that propensity to lean towards the negative sometimes more than a positive, especially if things aren't going our way, and then you support all the reasons why something isn't working. But if we can say, do you know what, I'm not going to get affected by you, you know, or if I have been affected by you, I'm going to use, you know, Vicky Jane's emotional resilience toolkit to shift that so that I'm not upset by it, that I can handle it better, because we are going to come across those people. They are the doomsdayers, they're the crayfish in the pot. And that's another video that you can go see where, you know, they're climbing, you're trying to get out of the pot, leading onto a better life, and they're trying to pull you back into the hot water. And you don't need that in your life. I was going to swear, but I won't do it. Okay, you just don't need it, right? And you know, it's bad enough that you've got your own internal stuff going on, which is quite often records and stories that have been passed down to us. So we need to reprogram those, which is, you know, what I was talking about with the parrot shoes and the records. You've got to scratch those records. Go and have a listen to how you can do that. And there's techniques as well in the Emotional Resilience Toolkit that will help you break those patterns as well. So the idea is that, you know, let's sing a different song in our heads. Let's have different parrots that are going to actually help us, more positive ones. Let's work out what shoes are working and what aren't working for us. Well, let's work out what path we do want. And now once we're on that path, who do I want with me? And who's, honestly, we have to get to a point, there are going to be points, I'm sorry, where you're going to actually go, do you know what? This just isn't working for me, or they're too negative, so I've chosen to spend less time or no time. Yes, sometimes you have to do that. I mean, that's a hard reality of life. I'm sorry, I'd like to say otherwise, but the reality is, you know, if you're hanging in there for whatever reason, and it's a little bit different if you've got family, because obviously it's family. So that's a different scenario, and I might talk to that in a different video. It's like, how can we handle people that are so negative in our environment, that are toxic, and like, you know, and sustain our energy without being overly impacted. So because you're going to come across, it can be bosses, it can be people at work, it can be, so we can pick our friends, right? And this is the whole thing, is like, you know, just acknowledge, you know, say, you know, our paths in life, if you think about it, just go like this, don't they? I mean, like, if they're meant to cross, they will. And if they're meant to join up on your path, they will. That's just how it is. So enjoy the path and the journey that you had together. Be grateful for that. Have homage and gratitude for, you know, the journey and the time and the lessons that you've learned from that person who was wearing those shoes, because it gave you clarity on what you don't want. Now, there's a gift in that. There's an absolute bonus in going, do you know what? If it weren't for that person, I wouldn't know what I do want. And therefore, thank you. Thank you. This is why I chose you to have you in my life, is so that I could learn that lesson, right? So now we know that lesson. You can choose to hang on. You can choose to, it's your shoes, your path, your way. If you want to carry on with that person, that's entirely your choice. But now at least you're consciously aware of it. You're aware of, wow, you know, like I felt that they were like quite an energy vampire, or they're, you know, they're so negative that it just really pulls me down. And, you know, it isn't working for me, so I'm going to choose this way. And I'm going to move forward with, you know, someone, you know, a group of like-minded ladies, like, you know, what we've got in the group, in the Facebook group, where you can go in, and the Vicky Jane group, and get the support, and have everybody who's like, let's be happy with life, let's be appreciative of life, let's be grateful for what we do have. You know, how can we take that next little step? Let's listen to that 10-minute video that Vicky does every day, and see if I can implement that in my life today, because that is a step. That's a step going in the right direction, isn't it? So thank you for continuing the journey with me today. Well done. I really celebrate you for doing that. And we will catch up again tomorrow. So if you like this, please like, share, subscribe on YouTube. You know, comment, and yeah, get other ladies on the same path. You know, if you know any other ladies, like-minded ladies wanting to go in the same direction, where they want to be the best version of themselves, please invite them. You know, this is what this is all about. So it's all free, doesn't cost anything. So I hope you enjoyed that, and you have a delightful day, and your shoes, your path, your way. Namaste.